Hey, AI fans. Want to explore a world where finding life-saving cures doesn't take forever and doesn't cost like $1 billion.
It's insane how fast this field is
I
evolving.
know, right? And we've got some awesome insights to share today, including thoughts from Jay Poole. He's got this great YouTube channel,
Hmm.
Tech Frontiers, and he really dives into how it all works.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, so in this deep dive, we're going to cover the AI drug discovery race, highlight some big players, like in silico medicine, isomorphic labs. We're going to look at how AI is changing those traditional drug discovery methods.
Right.
We're also going to dig into two major areas where AI is making a huge impact. Um, Pinpointing those really tricky disease targets and designing totally new molecules.
Mm.
And of course, we can't forget those real-world success stories, like in silico's groundbreaking work on that new molecule for treating IPF,
Yeah.
that serious lung disease.
Yeah.
But, we'll also touch on the challenges and limitations of using AI in this way.
Yeah, it's important to understand both the potential, but also the hurdles we still need to overcome.
For sure. So let's start by looking at this AI drug discovery race.
Mhm.
It's really heating up with companies like in silico medicine. They've already made some huge strides.
Yeah,
They developed an AI platform that everyone in the industry is talking about.
really impressive.
Yeah, and then you've got companies like Isomorphic Labs, which is like a spinoff from Alphabet, Google's parent company, right? And they're using AI to really understand the fundamental structure of diseases.
What's really interesting is while both companies, they use AI, but their approaches are really different. In Silico is focused on developing the actual tools to fight disease, whereas Isomorphic is they're going deep, really understanding the nature of what they're fighting.
Right.
It's like a two-pronged attack on disease, each with its own strengths.
That's a great point. It's like one company is making the weapons and the other one is mapping the battlefield.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And having, Google's resources and data behind Isomorphic Labs, that's a pretty big advantage.
Oh.
Their skill in handling just massive amounts of data is perfect for drug discovery because it's so complex.
Absolutely. Data, it's the fuel for these AI systems. The more good quality data they can access, the better they learn, the better their predictions.
So let's talk about how AI is actually speeding up and improving the process of drug discovery compared to traditional methods. As you know, traditional drug discovery has been a long and costly process, often taking years, if not decades, to bring a new drug to market.
Yeah. Think of it like searching for one specific grain of sand on a giant beach.
Oh, wow.
Scientists, they have to test countless compounds in the lab, just hoping to find one that's effective against a particular disease.
And that approach is incredibly time-consuming and expensive, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Not to mention, there's probably a ton of dead ends along the way.
Yeah, and that's where AI comes in. It can sift through these massive data sets, genetic information, clinical trial data, all the scientific literature, and it can identify patterns and connections that we as humans, we can't see.
Oh, wow.
It's like having a super-powered research assistant that can work 24/7 just analyzing data.
So instead of just randomly testing compounds, scientists can use AI to narrow down the search and focus their efforts on the most promising candidates.
Right.
It's like AI it's giving them a treasure map, leading them to the good stuff.
Precisely. And that ability to quickly analyze and interpret just mountains of data is what lets AI really speed up drug discovery. It's not just about finding new drugs faster. It's about finding better drugs, ones that are more targeted and effective.
Now, you mentioned that AI is having the biggest impact in two key areas: identifying disease targets and designing new molecules. Can you elaborate on what that means, starting with target identification?
Sure. So every disease, it has a target, a molecule or a process in the body that's gone wrong. Traditionally, finding those targets has been like trying to solve a really complicated puzzle,
Okay.
but with some pieces missing.
Right.
But AI can help kind of fill in those gaps by analyzing tons of data and pinpointing the specific molecules or the processes that are actually responsible for causing the disease.
So it's like AI is giving scientists the missing pieces of the puzzle, so they can see the whole picture and really understand what's at the root of the disease. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like having this detective that can analyze all the clues and find the culprit with incredible accuracy.
Okay, now let's talk about the other area where AI is making a big impact: designing new molecules.
Yeah.
This sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It does, doesn't it? But it's becoming real. So imagine you're a chemist and you're trying to design a drug that fits perfectly into a specific target,
Okay.
like a key in a lock. Traditionally, this has been a super long and time-consuming process involving lots of trial and error.
And I bet it involves a lot of guesswork, too.
Yeah, totally. But AI is changing that. By using, its knowledge of chemistry and biology, AI can design these molecules from scratch. And it optimizes their structure to make sure that they bind effectively to the target and they have that therapeutic effect, the effect you want. It's like having this microscopic architect who's building the perfect drug molecule brick by brick.
So instead of just testing thousands of compounds, scientists can use AI to design and create molecules that are specifically made to target the disease.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It's like having a 3D printer for drugs that can just make custom design molecules whenever you need them.
That's a great way to put it. And that level of precision and control, it can revolutionize the way we develop drugs for all sorts of diseases.
Okay, this all sounds really amazing in theory, but I'm sure our listeners are wondering, does this actually work in practice? So let's talk about that real-world success story you mentioned earlier in silico medicine and their new molecule for IPF, idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis.
Right, IPF. It's a really devastating lung disease. There's no known cure. And traditional drug development for IPF has been slow and largely unsuccessful.
Oh, wow.
But in silico medicine, using their AI platform, they were able to identify a potential drug target and then design a molecule to hit that target.
And did it work? Did they actually create a drug that could treat this horrible disease?
The results, they've been very promising. Their AI design molecule it's been very effective in preclinical trials, and those are tests that are done in the lab before you test on humans.
Right.
And it's moving into human clinical trials, which is a major milestone.
Wow. So they went from identifying a target to having a potential drug in clinical trials, all using AI. That's incredible.
It is. It really shows the potential of AI to speed up drug discovery and get new treatments to patients much faster.
This is really remarkable. But as with any new technology, it's important to consider the challenges and limitations as well. What are some of the hurdles that researchers are facing in this field?
One of the biggest challenges is data. These AI systems, they need massive amounts of high-quality data to be trained effectively. And while we are generating more data than ever before, there are still gaps in our knowledge, especially when it comes to rare diseases.
So it's almost like we need more data to improve the AI, but we need better AI to help us get and analyze that data. It's like a chicken and egg problem.
Exactly. And then there's the issue of interpretability. AI systems can be incredibly complex, so it's hard to understand exactly how they're making their predictions.
So it's not enough for the AI to just work. We also need to understand why it works and how it works. Transparency is really important in any scientific endeavor, especially when you're dealing with human health.
Absolutely. It's about building trust in these systems and making sure that they're used safely and responsibly.
We've covered a lot of ground already, but there's still so much more to explore.
Oh, yeah. This field is evolving so quickly. It's amazing to think about what the future holds.
Well, we'll continue our deep dive into the world of AI and drug discovery right after this.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were talking about some of the challenges facing AI drug discovery, like the need for these huge data sets and the complexity of figuring out how these AI systems actually make their predictions.
And it's so important to remember that even with all the potential of AI, human expertise is still super important. We can't just hand everything over to machines and expect them to figure it all out.
Yeah, I totally agree. AI is an incredibly powerful tool, but it is just a tool. And you need skilled scientists and researchers and clinicians to guide it, to interpret the findings and then make decisions, informed decisions based on the output. It's really about collaboration, not replacement.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like, having a really powerful telescope, one that can see deep into space. You still need those astronomers to interpret those images, to understand what they're seeing.
Everything. The future of AI drug discovery relies on strong partnerships between those AI specialists, those data scientists, biologists, chemists, clinicians. Everyone, all these different areas of expertise brings their own unique knowledge to the table. And it's the synergy between them that's going to lead to the really groundbreaking discoveries.
It's like putting together a dream team, All these experts, each with their own superpower, and they come together to tackle these really complex medical challenges.
I love that analogy. And speaking of teams, let's go back to some of those key players in the AI drug discovery race. We've talked about in silico medicine and isomorphic labs, but there are so many other companies and organizations that are really making waves in this field.
Oh, absolutely. This field it's exploding with innovation. You've got companies like Recursion Pharmaceuticals, and they've embraced this data-centric approach. They're generating, massive amounts of biological data to train their AI models. It's almost like they're building this giant library of cellular information.
It's a fascinating approach. They really believe that by creating this comprehensive data set that really captures all the complexity of biological systems, that they can train AI to make more accurate and more meaningful predictions about how drugs will interact with those systems. It's like creating this really detailed map of the human body at a molecular level.
Yeah. And you mentioned benevolent AI earlier. They're doing some really interesting stuff using AI to connect the dots in scientific literature and databases.
Exactly. They're using AI to just go through these mountains of research papers and clinical trial data, all the scientific information to uncover those hidden connections and patterns that we as human researchers might miss. It's like having a research assistant that can read and understand every scientific paper ever published.
That's mind-blowing. And it's not just companies either. Academic institutions and research labs all over the world are deeply involved in AI drug discovery research. There's this real sense of global collaboration, this shared mission to really push the boundaries of what's possible.
It is. It's inspiring to see so many brilliant minds all working together, towards a common goal. And it's important to highlight that this collaboration goes beyond, national borders. Scientists and researchers are sharing their findings and data and expertise just to accelerate the pace of discovery.
So let's focus on Recursion Pharmaceuticals for a second. You mentioned their data-driven approach. Can you tell us a little more about how that works in practice?
They've built this massive experimental platform that can screen millions of compounds against thousands of different disease models, generating an unbelievable amount of data. We're talking like petabytes of information.
Petabytes. Wow. So put that in perspective for our listeners. A petabyte is 1 million gigabytes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this crazy amount of data. So they're basically creating their own universe of biological information to train their AI system.
Yeah, exactly. And by analyzing this huge data set, their AI can identify these really subtle patterns and connections that would be impossible for humans to spot. And this allows them to discover potential drug targets and design molecules with a level of precision and speed that we just haven't seen before.
It's almost like they're creating a Google Maps.
Yeah.
For the human body.
Yeah.
Mapping out all these intricate pathways and connections within our cells and organs.
I love that analogy. And just like Google Maps helps us navigate, the physical world, Recursion's AI platform helps them navigate this complex world of biology and disease.
No, we've spent a lot of time talking about, the science behind AI drug discovery, but I think it's important to remember that the ultimate goal of all of this is to improve human health.
Yeah.
So how is this technology actually impacting, patients' lives?
That's the most important question, isn't it? The true measure of success in AI drug discovery is how it translates into real benefits for patients, and the early results are incredibly encouraging. We talked about in Silico's work on IPF and how their AI designed molecule is now in human clinical trials.
That's a huge step forward.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other examples of AI powered drugs that are making their way to the clinic?
Oh, there are several AI-designed drugs that are currently in different stages of clinical trials. They're targeting a wide range of diseases, from cancer to Alzheimer's to rare genetic disorders.
So the pipeline is full of potential. It's really exciting to think about the possibilities, for treating diseases that have been really hard to address, or even impossible to address with traditional methods. But it's important to keep in mind that AI drug discovery is still relatively new, and there are going going to be some bumps in the road.
Absolutely. We need to balance our enthusiasm with a good dose of realism. There will be challenges and setbacks along the way, but the progress that we've seen in just the past few years it's been really remarkable.
It feels like we're seeing the start of a whole new era in medicine, one where technology is playing a much bigger role in how we understand and treat disease. And like with any new frontier, there can be unknowns and risks to figure out.
Of course, but the potential benefits are just so huge that it's a journey that's worth taking. Imagine a world where we can develop cures for diseases that right now have no effective treatments, where we can personalize medicine based on someone's individual genetic makeup, where we can prevent diseases before they even show up.
That sounds almost too good to be true, but that's the power of science and innovation, right? To push the boundaries of what's possible and to create a better future. And AI is playing this key role in making that future a reality.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's an exciting time to be alive, and I'm incredibly optimistic about the future of AI in medicine.
This has been an incredible journey so far, and we've only just scratched the surface of this really fascinating topic. Welcome back to our deep dive into AI and drug discovery. We've covered a lot, from how AI is speeding things up to like the big breakthroughs happening right now.
And we talked about the challenges too, but I think the really amazing thing is the potential of this tech to just completely change, healthcare. It's not just about curing diseases; it's about preventing them.
Yeah, that's a good point. We've talked about treatment, but AI could really like revolutionize preventative medicine. Imagine
Yeah.
like being able to predict if someone's going to get a disease, like Alzheimer's or heart disease before they even have any symptoms.
That's the kind of future we're moving toward. AI can analyze these huge amounts of data, genetic information, lifestyle stuff, environmental factors, and it can create a personalized risk profile.
Wow.
So doctors can then use that knowledge and intervene early, with lifestyle changes, maybe some preventative therapies, or even like personalized drug regimens to really lower the risk of those diseases.
It's like having a personalized, health forecast that's guiding you toward a healthier future.
Yeah.
But as AI becomes more, integrated into healthcare, it raises some big questions. We have to make sure that we're using this tech responsibly, ethically.
Absolutely. There are concerns about data privacy, algorithmic bias, access to treatment that we need to address. We got to make sure that everyone benefits from AI-powered healthcare. It doesn't matter what their background is or their socioeconomic status.
Yeah, it's not just about the science. It's about the impact on society.
Yeah.
We need to talk about these ethical issues
Yeah.
openly and honestly. And we need to develop clear guidelines and regulations for how we use AI in healthcare.
I completely agree. Technology should always serve humanity, and we need to make sure that the AI is used to create a healthcare system that's more equitable, more just.
For everyone.
When this deep dive it's been really eye-opening. AI has the potential to just completely revolutionize how we approach health and disease.
It's an exciting time to be in this field. Who knows what kind of breakthroughs are just around the corner. As we wrap up, we want to leave you with this thought. What other parts of our lives could benefit from AI's ability to analyze complex data and make these connections that we might miss? We're talking like climate change, education, even space exploration. The possibilities are endless.
This is just the beginning of the AI revolution. The future is really what we make it. And I believe that if we use this technology thoughtfully, if we're committed to using it for good, we can create a brighter future, a healthier future for everyone.
Well, thank you for joining us on this amazing journey into the world of AI and drug discovery.
Until next time, stay curious.